What's up, guys? My name is Jared, and welcome back to my channel. This is a place where I'm talking about cruise ships, working on cruise ships, what that experience is like, how you might get involved if that's something that you're interested in. I would love for you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment letting me know if there's anything specific that you'd like me to talk about. But today, we're going to be talking about life at sea and the career that you can build by going into becoming a performer on a cruise ship, right? So like I've said before, my name is Jared Kate. I've done 4 contracts at sea so far and have been working in the entertainment performing field for about 15 years. And working on a cruise ship was not always the direction that I thought I would go in, but I have loved it. It's been fantastic. Like I said, I've worked with Silver Sea in the past. I've worked with Princess Cruises, and I'm currently working with Royal Caribbean right now. And they've all been a little bit different. But some of the things that you can expect if you become a cruise ship performer is obviously the opportunity to travel to fun and exotic locations, right? So some of the places that I have been, South America, right? Valparaiso. I've gotten to go to Easter Island, which was an amazing experience, getting to see some of the stuff that was there, getting to see statues that have been there for generations and generations. New Zealand, Australia was fantastic. I loved it, right? Then up north to Japan and Korea, which were both amazing places. I've been to Norway, which I didn't realize at the time that because of the time of year, the sun would be coming up around 3 in the morning. So not my favorite experience of all time, but it was still amazing to see. It was still beautiful. In the time that we were there, I just wasn't ready for the sun to be up at 3 a.m. But been to Spain, been to the Mediterranean, and then I've spent a good amount of time in the Mexico, Bahamas area, as a lot of people who work on cruise ships do. But there's tons of places that you get to see, and there are places that I still want to see, right? I would love to do a season in Alaska, right? And I've always heard that it's great for the first 2 weeks. And then after that, it gets a little bit boring. But I would love to do the hiking. I'd love to just be in that atmosphere. It seems super fun to me. But yeah, so that is one of the cool things about cruise ships is that you get to travel a ton. One of the other rewarding things is getting to develop your craft, right? Getting to become a better performer through new audiences, new cultures of people that are going to come onto the ship, right? You might be dealing with Americans for some of your cruises. You might be dealing with people from the UK or Australians or people from China. There's no telling where the people that are getting on your ship are going to be from. And most likely you're going to have a wide array of people from all over the world, right? And you have to be able to perform for all of them. There might be different things that, from what I've heard and seen, Americans want you to do a great job. They're going to clap. They're going to want to be excited for you. The British are not going to be quite the same. They're going to be much more reserved. They still want you to succeed. They still want to have a good time, but they're going to be more reserved with their thoughts. And then Australians will just tell you like it is, right? If you did a great job, they will tell you that you did a great job. And if you didn't, they won't be mean about it, but they'll let you know, like, hey, that wasn't really as good as I thought it could have been, right? So it's all different with who you are performing for. But that's part of the fun of getting to perform for so many different types of cultures, is that you are developing how you're going to interact with other people and getting that tough skin that can come with performing, as well as getting more tools in your toolbox in how to perform and interact with people from different parts of the world, which is awesome. You're also, in addition to the creative awards, you're going to be able to provide a unique and exciting lifestyle for yourself, right? You'll have the opportunity to travel to new and exciting places, like I've said, to experience different cultures and to meet people from all over the world. And that's not just like the guests. Obviously, you're going to be in a community of people that are from all over. I'm an American who works on a cruise ship, and that is kind of a minority status position. On Silver Sea, I was literally the American. I was the singular one that worked on the cruise ship, and everyone else was from different countries, different continents, and I was the lone wolf, if you will. They're from America, but you have a lot of people from the UK, obviously, tons of people from Italy, um, from the Philippines, right? All over the world, people are performing and living and working on cruise ships. Obviously, not just in the entertainment side, but also like with the galley, right? Or officers, of course, if you're driving the ship, those are all going to be different people from different places around the world that you get to interact with, which is pretty awesome. And so another benefit is the financial savings. The finances that I'm able to save by doing this job are fantastic, right? Because I am on the ship, which means I'm not paying rent. I'm not having to worry about having an apartment, buying a house, anything like that. I'm just taking that money, I'm folding it up, I'm putting it in my pocket, right? The same thing with food. Honestly, I get to eat here for free for the entirety of my contract, right? I have the super awesome privilege of being able to go up to the buffet here on the ship, and so that means I can eat the same food that the guests are having that they love. The people like write huge reviews over how much they love it. I'm getting to eat for free because I work here, and so those are two huge points of savings that I am getting as someone who works on the ship. And so I'm just taking that money, like I said, folding it up, putting it in my pocket, investing it into other forms of income, right? Ways that can make me into a more self-sustaining person. And that is one of the fantastic things about working on a cruise ship. I would love one day to work in a place like New York City, but the fact of the matter is, it would be between $1,000 and $2,000 a month for an apartment if it was just for me, right? And then however much food is going to cost would probably be crazy, and that's a lot of my paycheck. Even if I was, performing in one of the top shows in the city, it makes more financial sense a lot of the time to do this job here on a ship where you're still bringing people in to see your shows, which are fantastic. The shows here are phenomenal, but you're also saving that money, which is great. And that brings us to the shows, right? You're getting to do different shows on each ship, right? So I've done 4 contracts. 2 of them were part of a continuation contract, meaning I learned the shows and then I did 1 contract on one ship, took a small break, and then did the same shows on another ship. But other than that, that means I've done 3 separate sets of shows that I went into a rehearsal period. I learned all of the shows, did all the rehearsing, and then installed the shows onto the ship. And we might do a video on installing and rehearsing and all of that stuff in the future. But getting all of that time under tension, if you want to think about it like that, learning those songs, learning that choreography, getting in the room with the choreographers, with the music directors, with the other performers, and putting that show together over and over again has made me into a better performer and someone who is more knowledgeable after all of that repetition, getting better and better at doing this job, which is putting a show together, right? There's also a huge sense of community, obviously, that comes with performing on a cruise ship. You're going to work and live in the same place, and that has ups and downs, right? Sometimes it's amazing. You're getting to, like I said, I'm saving a ton of money. I am really close to where I work. I don't have to worry about gas. I don't have to worry about driving a vehicle around. I'm in a floating hotel, right? But that also means that sometimes you're going to be around the same people every day, right? And because you live here, there are plenty of rules and regulations that make sure that everyone is treated fairly and nobody is overworked to an enormous extent. But there are long hours that come with doing this type of job, and you might be expected or asked to help out with things that might not be part of your normal thing, right? And If you want to be a team player, then part of that is going like, okay, yeah, I can help decorate for Halloween, right? I can, okay, here's all of the stuff that needs to go up. Let me help out and like get this all done so that we can all finish for the day and get ready for tomorrow's stuff, right? And when you're on a cruise ship, there's not really a day off, right? The day that all of the guests leave is also the day that a bunch of new guests come on. So when you're on the ship, you're here, you're working, right? So I might get a day off and that I'm not actively singing or performing, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to still be around guests. And so I still have to be the Jared that is capable of talking to guests and having a good time. And if I need to, I can take some time in my cabin to myself and make sure that I'm in a good spot. But if I'm going to go out and I'm going to go be in a guest area, I need to be able to look and act and perform in some ways like someone who is capable of being a representative of the line that they're working for, right? So those are the parts of that aspect of the job. So if you're considering a career as a performer on a cruise ship, there's a few things to keep in mind, right? Be prepared for a unique and challenging lifestyle. Life on a cruise ship can be demanding with long hours, limited space, and time away from family and friends. I haven't really talked about that a ton, right? You're not home. You are on this ship right now. I am in the Gulf of America, I guess. I don't know. I just heard about that, right? You're not going to see the news as much. But I'm here in the ocean in between Cozumel and Florida, and I'm not with my family, right? Some of my family came on earlier this year, but for the most part, I haven't seen anyone since this contract started. So that is a part of it, is being away from family and friends sometimes. The hours can be long, like we've talked about, and there is limited space. I live in this one room. This is me, and I have a bathroom, and I have plenty of stuff to make everything work. But it's small, and if small isn't your thing, then this might not be your thing. But if you are able to live in this type of lifestyle, then it's great. I really enjoy it. You need to be flexible and adaptable. As a performer, you'll need to be able to adjust to new settings and new challenges every week, right? Every day, it's going to be a little bit different. There might be things that change. You might be really excited for a port and then that port doesn't work out, right? Or you might have had a tough couple of days and unfortunately not something that you knew about or was going to happen. You have to go to a training that you didn't know about. And so that's part of it, is being able to go, okay, like I'm not super stoked about this new thing that's happening, but that's okay. Time to move on and get the work done. And it can be a really great way to help grow yourself and become a better version of you that is willing to do that work and willing to get things done a little bit faster and a little bit more on it, if that makes any sense. You need to be professional and dedicated. That's very important. As a representative of the line that you're working for, you'll be expected to maintain a high level of professionalism and dedication to your craft, right? This is kind of what we were talking about earlier, but this obviously applies to performing the shows. I'm doing the same shows every cruise for the entirety of that contract, and I'm expected as a performer to perform those shows as well or better than I did when I was hired, when they watched me in rehearsals, and when I gave them my final, this is what the show will look like with me singing this part. I need to be at least that good for the rest of the contract. And that doesn't mean you can't get sick. That doesn't mean that you aren't a slave. But it does mean that you need to keep a high level of professionalism and maintain a certain amount of dedication to what you're doing, right? I make sure that I'm ready. That means I'm warming up before every show. That means I'm staying in shape. That means that I'm making sure that I'm the best me that I can be to perform these shows every cruise, no matter what. And if something does happen, if I need to go to medical, which I have done, then that happens and you go. If you're ever sick, you should go to medical because you don't want to get everyone else sick. It's a very small space and it can be really easy to spread different kinds of germs and stuff like that. So make sure if you're ever sick, please go see medical. But if you're just kind of not feeling it, you still need to do the show. And honestly, if you want to be known as the type of performer that is willing to step up when it's time to step up, that's only going to be a net positive for you. So overall, performing on a cruise ship is a rewarding and exciting career opportunity. If you're interested, I'm going to be doing more videos like this talking about what it's like to live on the ship, what it's like to audition for ship contracts, what kind of stuff you need. So if you're interested in that, I would love for you to like this video, comment the things that you would like to know if you have any questions, and think about subscribing, because I would love to have you be a part of what we're doing here, just trying to get out more knowledge to people that may be looking for it. But thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.